my pretties. Surprise live coming at you November 1st. It's almost 3 o'clock and I am really short on time. So I just thought I would come on for like the world's shortest live just because I miss my people so much. So thank you. If you're here, please say hi. If you're catching it on the replay crew, then thank you for that. Please hit your like button, share, subscribe, turn on your notification bell to ring. Max, you're the best. Thank you for being here. It's so awesome. And Sunset and Annie Ruler. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's just like power through. I only have like 20 minutes, 30 tops. How are you guys today? How was your Halloween? And for other cultures, I think November 1st is more of a holiday than Halloween, right? November 1st was, of course, the day that Meredith Kircher was unalived over there in Italy. Is the name of the town Pierogi? Something like that. I'm going to hack it. Pergola? That's not it. You guys, can you help me out? The name of the university town where Meredith Kircher was unalived a good long time ago, like probably about 20, almost 20 years now. Somewhere around 2005, 2007. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that case. Rest her soul. Rest in peace, and may the Kircher family still get some justice. Strange, I liked the video, and it was still displaying 0 for a quick few. Oh, weird. Okay. Halloween was uneventful. We had 2 trick-or-treaters, Annie Ruler, yes, Day of the Dead evening, and Big Day Mañana, Cabo. Kids love free candy, mob of kids. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I literally just came on to say hello because I haven't done a live or even a pre-recorded video since Friday, and that's just too long. So I was hoping that I could do a longer video today, but I just had too many things going on. One of my children got married yesterday, you guys. Is that so exciting? So we have an addition to the family. And hey, Susan. And of course, it was Halloween. So, you know, kind of like the Nightmare Before Christmas theme or something like that. Yeah, it's been a pretty eventful few days since my last time with my viewers here. Everything I say is simply my opinion, simply for the sake of conversation, always hoping to open up a discussion and to learn something, to be educational, and just to interact with you guys. All my videos are made specifically for YouTube, and it's an entertainment platform. Yeah, the military son, exactly. He is he's just graduated into his new undercover operation. I like to say, if I told you, I'd have to kill you, right? Hey, Mark, how's it going? Thanks so much for being here, everybody. So this is a super fast live. I was catching up, trying to watch all of Shan's live from last night. If you guys haven't seen it yet, I will put a link in the description. Squirrels on Fire. She was tearing it up with digging up the dirt on these public employees for Placer County. And it's unreal. Like, I almost got through the whole thing, but it's unreal the amounts of money that these people made, and they're like sheriffs for 2 different counties at the same time. I'm sorry, deputies, sheriff's deputies for 2 different counties at the same time. That would be completely impossible to be sheriff 2 different counties, but it's pretty impossible to be deputy. And yeah, I mean, sure, if you're part-time, but this one person that was deputy for 2 counties was also like a district attorney and something else. Like, huh? And they're all making $500,000 and upwards of that. Not all, but many of them. Something funky is going on there. So I want to talk quickly about Kylie Rodney. I want to talk quickly about Maui, and I want to talk quickly about Idaho 4, because there's some sketchy, shaky, shady law enforcement in all 3 of these cases. I mean, if you want to call Lahaina fires a case, that's kind of like thousands of cases, really. Idaho 4, Kylie Rodney. We've got serious, bizarre things going on that people are just accepting at face value, and they're not being straightforward. They're not being honest. Like in the Idaho 4 now, they're going back in there and they're doing their 3D scanning of the property that they wanted to tear down. And their excuse is that, well, they couldn't complete the 3D scanning before because of the court date. They didn't have enough time. But now, because the court date's been pushed back, they do have enough time. But they said that they got the 3D scanning done already, which was why they thought it would be okay to just knock it down. Like, these people talk out of both sides of their mouths. And when they're doing that, they're not being straightforward, AKA lying. Okay. So Feliz El Dia de los Muertos. Yes, my first marriage was to Jehovah's Witnesses, had to hide in back of house on Halloween. Yikes. I'm applying, Mark Molina says. Yeah, seriously. I mean, if you don't mind selling your soul, then it'd be a good deal, right? Um, where did it go? Oh my goodness. So easy to get lost in the comments when you go backwards. You just can't go backwards. Just like in real life, you just can't go backwards, right? So a person was also a coroner, sheriff, etc. in the Rodney case. So the way they do it in California, the county sheriffs are automatically the coroner and the public administrator. Sorry. So any sheriff in any rural county in California, I believe, is all three of these things: the coroner, the sheriff, and the public administrator. They probably made that a thing like 200 years ago when they didn't have that many people that qualified. I don't know, but it's pretty whack. And in this day and age, a lot of corrupt, a lot of corruption, a lot of dereliction of duty is being discovered, and these people need to be outed. They need to be held accountable, in my humble opinion. So yeah, it's nuts, isn't it? I mean, like in the Idaho 4, you've got the coroner who's also a defense attorney. And I mean, that's just a hot mess too. In a case 15 years ago, I think it was, where she was the coroner for a stabbing victim, and then she was the defense attorney for the person that stabbed him. And that guy just happened to be the one that was arrested like a week after Idaho 4 for attempting to stab himself and his wife and her kids, like attempting to or threatening to or something like that. Anyway, that thug got, I think he got sentenced to 15 years with Kathy Mabut as his defense attorney. And then he was sprung after serving 2 years. So it was ironic that at the same time that he would have served his pretty short sentence, in my estimation, that then he was harming himself, his spouse, and children. Thanks, Kathy. Thank you for your service to your community. So disgusting. So, hello, a one-way street. Please email me your address. I still have your necklace and earrings. I'm so happy to see you. Please, even if you don't want it, please just email me your address, justice, ATOOZ, @gmail.com. And if you don't want the necklace and earrings, you can give them away, or I can give them away, but I was holding on to them for you, and I would love for you to have them. So please send me your address if you're comfortable with it. If you're not, just say so, and then we're cool. Or send me an email. We'll figure it out. Again, justice, ATOOZ, @gmail.com. So thanks for being here. And I'm just so excited to see you and Yeah, this is a real quick one because I barely have any time, but I've just been so busy the last few days. I haven't been able to get on live since Friday, and I just miss you guys. So hopefully we'll have a good long live tomorrow early in the day. Let's try for that. Be there, be square. We were told they can tear down because they had the 3D scan going to say lost. Well, exactly, Annie Ruler. That's what they said almost a year ago because now we're coming up on the year anniversary in 12 days. They said that pretty quickly after. They said, oh, well, we already have a 3D scan. We don't need it. And even with a 3D scan, we all know that in person is going to be different than digital. So that was whack. But so they were lying then, and my guess is they're lying now. I mean, I don't trust anything about this Idaho 4. I trust nothing about it. There's been some really good videos made. I'm trying to think of some of the best ones that come to mind. Clueminati, I love her. She's kicking butt. Jules of all trades, also kicking butt. I think they had a little bit of a sword fight going on, but that's okay. You know, we can all try to duck out of that. It's just funny, right? Like we try not to get caught up in the drama and to be not to be competitive with each other, but to be um, partners in crime, right? Or partners in uncrime. So let's see. Judge, jury, executioner. Mark, you've got it right there. Right there. So is it county, Bed County, Shasta County coroner was not a sheriff? Um, okay, interesting. Yeah, as far as I know, and of course I don't know it entirely well, but from what I've looked into, it's the rural counties of California that have that. Maybe it's optional. Maybe it's optional. I don't know. Squirt Slate, but here working on a short for Legend and Sincere, the two twin 2-year olds that drowned in. Oh, I don't know about this. How terrible. I don't know how long ago was that. So, Squirrels, I was just talking about your live from last night. I've almost gotten caught up, and you were really hitting it hard. And that sleuthin' skills, you and Billy Darling tearing it up. Um, yeah, Tumult. I don't know who that is, but happy birthday, Heavenly Mom. Yeah, this is my second Halloween since my mom passed. I remember last Halloween, I did a short, like 8-minute video right at her gravesite. So I was just feeling really spooky and, was still so new at this whole thing. I mean, I'm still pretty new at it, right? But anyway, it's funny. I think I got poison ivy that day too, out there at the graveyard. Like, thanks, graveyard maintenance crew. Dang. In the fall, like I would expect it maybe in the spring or the summer, but not so much in the fall. But yeah, poison ivy is just bad news. Oh, cool. A one-way street's going to send it now. Awesome. Oh, good. I'm so excited to get that to you and then to do another prize for the winning people, for the winners, right? Um, oh no. I'm so sorry. I lose my place so easily when I go backwards. I'm just going to highlight where Mark said, hey, a one-way street. And then I'm honoring my mother today on her birthday anniversary. I'm so glad I went back and saw that one. Hey, Tumult, I am not familiar with your name. Thanks for coming in. And I'm really sorry about your mommy. It's so terrible to lose our mamas, huh? So yeah, let's see, where are we at? Oh my God, yes, I did realize I won. I do want them. Cool. Excellent. Yeah, I have them right handy, like not handy enough to show you. I mean, I could, but I'd have to get up and grab them, and that's kind of too much time. So, with us being so short on time, we'll just maybe I'll show them off again in the video tomorrow before I ship them off. How about that? Let's try to do a video tomorrow, like 9:30-ish. How's that sound? What's the topic? The topic today is I'm in a hurry. So just slightly touching briefly on each of Kylie Rodney, Idaho 4, and Lahaina. So, I mentioned it on your live last night, Shan. Thanks for having me up on your panel. That one of the problems in Lahaina is that the locals have been instructed to not speak publicly, to not take interviews. And I would imagine that these people are under great threat. Allegedly, there's a family of 7 that the 5 kids perished in the fire, in the Lahaina fires, August 8th. And then the 2 parents took their own lives because of the loss of their children. So that's 7 people right there. But where we know that they're not being accounted for is that they've only admitted to 2, possibly 3 children, minors. And I believe that all 5 of the children in that family were all 5 minors. I think in the newest Brush Junkie video that I'll put a link in the description here. So I also mentioned in your live last night the newest interview on Survivor Thrive, and that was really freaky to hear this couple tell their story, that they were trying to escape from the burning area, and they were instructed by law enforcement not only to go back to their house, but to stay inside. And they didn't listen. They didn't listen, and they survived. It's really, really nuts. But I'm really grateful that there's other channels that are still covering Maui, because not enough are, in my opinion. The email, Shan, could you type it into the chat? justiceatooz@gmail.com, please and thank you. So yeah, I'm excited to get that to you. A one-way street. That's awesome. Yeah, I've been watching Idaho 4 stuff quite a bit just to stay in the loop. Most is from Jules and News Nation, and you know that it has moved to where it should be. News Nation is such a joke. I'm sure you know that, girl. And Jules is right on top of everything. So yeah, she'll keep you right up to speed with everything. And Judge is making decisions. I don't think it's completely finalized if they're going to allow cameras in the courtroom, but it looks like they are. And this whole thing with the defense making a motion to dismiss the case, and people are like, oh, they lost their motion. And it's like that motion was just really going through the motions. Like that's something that they're required to do in order to show that they are representing their client sufficiently, basically. So it's not like they really thought that it was going to get thrown out. It's just that they have to jump through that hoop. I didn't even catch on to the rift until yesterday. It is entertaining. I mean, I'll put a link to the Clueminati where she's tearing up a panel, and I think with good, I think she has a good point. Is like this panel is just kind of going on and on, not knowing what they're really talking about. And actually, one of the victim's parents called in and is being interviewed. It's not Jules of All Trades channel, but she's on the panel. And it's just really sad. I mean, nobody needs to be slamming anybody, but I think we all need to be careful about the information that we're putting out there. Because sure, people know that it's just our opinion and that we're just one person, but it's the telephone game and it's the rumor mill, and we just need to be cautious, I believe, about what we say, so that we're not muddying the waters and contributing to the confusion and all. So it's really apparent to me at this point with the Idaho 4 that the university and the fraternities are very likely behind the quadruple slaying. I have felt that way off and on, I believe, since day one, and I've been feeling much more that way lately, and especially the last few days with some of the things that are coming out. So, also Bubbly Waters, of course, she digs deep and she gets a lot of good information. So, yeah, the fraternities are powerful and secretive, and the hazing, you guys, like the hazing has never stopped. I don't believe that hazing has ever even slowed down. It's just gone more undercover. Because it's illegal to haze and it's illegal to even know about hazing, but I believe that it happens just as much as it always has. Um, it's terrible, absolutely terrible. And then there's people that still want to say that it had to be Koberger because the DNA, and oh my goodness, maybe I'll put a link. I don't know. Let me decide. Um, a couple of guys that were discussing the case, and I guess I'll find it and put the link since I'm talking about it now. But one of them was just like, why would law enforcement lie? Like, what good would that do them? They're not going to lie about it. I believe law enforcement. And it's just like, law enforcement in Moscow is basically owned by the university. The university is more population than the town itself. So altogether, I think it's about 25,000, but more than half of that is the university. So the town of Moscow is just about 11,000, and the university holds all the cards and has all the power. And that president, Scott Green, who's a Harvard graduate, does not have an academic background, like in academic business. He has a background in business. He does not have a doctorate degree. He has a master's degree. Granted, it's Harvard, but typically presidents of universities have doctoral degrees and they've worked in educational institutional systems. So he had none of that in his background, and he wasn't hired that long ago. I think like 5 years ago, if I'm remembering right. But his posturing at the early pressers is just unreal to me. It seems very obvious that he's the puppet master. So that's all I want to say about that. I think I've touched on all three cases. We're only at 23 minutes, but I do need to wrap up. I'll just catch up with you guys here real quick. Um, does anyone in charge know Ajax email? Who's Ajax? I don't know who that is. Does anyone else? Fred Field. Oh, I was watching Shan's live from last night. It just really happened. It's pending investigation, and the family is speaking out how they think it's already being swept under the rug. No accountability. Oh, with these 2-year-old twins? Dang, that's disgusting. Get a Clue is passionate, trigger warning for voice, but he does some deep topics. Okay. Yeah, I've heard the name of the channel. I'm sure I've watched it once or twice. At Gmail, yes. So Justice ATOOZ at gmail.com. Did that come out right, or did I mumble? I'm just sorry. I'm so rushed, but it's so nice to see you guys. Thanks again for being here. Your mama letting you know she isn't there. She is with you and beyond. Aw. You can delete after you get bit. I don't know what that means. Um, and let's see. Cool as beans. Thank you so much. Love having you on panel, Miss Jazz. Oh, it's always an honor to be on your panel, girl. I was so happy that I could hop up there for a little bit before I went to sleep. And let's see. Yeah, you got the Prime and Crochet are my hyper focus. Hello, darling. Just popping in to say hi and remind everyone to hit that like button. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. If, and I have no want to speak this into fruition, something ever happened to Fee, you might as well bury me with him because I saw what losing two children was like for my parents. That guilt is oof. Yeah, I cannot imagine, God forbid, anyone has to deal with that. And yeah, I just think that Kylie Rodney's mom did not act at all. Everyone responds differently, but she kind of like Sammy, that's just sus. I'll just leave it there. I don't want to be critical. I mean, come on, right? Um, I know, knock on wood and, hug your babies and tell them you love them every day, right? Um, I watch good content in mainstream. You know me, I love to compare who's reporting what, and MS mainstream media seems to downplay and BS things. Jules is on point with her stuff. Much respect to her. Yeah, she's got a lot of experience with her YouTube channel, and I guess she has an associate's degree or maybe a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and it really shows. I mean, she knows her stuff. And then there's, of course, her personal story, which is very sad, and I'm glad she's gotten through that. Um, and let's see. Uh, Thank you for dropping the channels for Get a Clue and Clueminati. AT had to bring up the GJ topic, otherwise you cannot bring that topic on appeal. Thanks, Annie Ruler, who also used to work in the courts, so she knows her business. Um, in Jules of All Trades, Excellente. GF me for Kara is a match to Fire Rug Addicts. Trust Fund would have been nicer, in my opinion. Yeah, poor Kara. I mean, as a recovering addict, I have a lot of empathy for her. Oh man, was it Clueminati or was it another channel who was saying that the parents of a couple of the victims were involved in some of the biggest busts in the country? And I had never heard it like that. I had heard early on that Kara was in possession of millions of dollars worth of fentanyl. And fentanyl's cheap. So if that's true, that's crazy. But that's been dropped. It's weird that it was put out front early on and then just dropped. Hazing gone, Truckee silence. Yeah. And then we got Bubbly Waters right there. Thanks so much, Shan. It is bouncing back. Sent. I never win anything. Now I won 2 pieces you made. I won big. Oh, that's so cool. I know it's funny when you feel like you've never won anything, huh? So now you're going to be on a winning streak. Okay, it bounced again. The email, justice, ATOOZ@gmail.com. So it's counterintuitive because of the TOO. Justice A2Z@gmail.com. And I apologize for that. It was just because it was the only Gmail that I could get that was close to what I wanted. Did you see that Payne was on the scene of Hannah and he saw a phone under her pillow, but it had suicide note, x-ray vision on 2 sleighs, in my opinion? I had missed that, Annie Ruler. Thank you kindly for pointing that out. That is wild. That is super wild. Yeah, you nailed it right there. Looks like it went this time. Excellent. Got to go back to packing. Love you, Justice and Gang. Are you moving in One Way Street? That's rough. Moving is stressful. Have a blessed Wednesday. Was volunteer interim after M trial not paid was fun. All right. So there's another channel. Are you guys familiar with Your Average YouTuber? I'm not, but I heard one of my favorites, probably Clueminati, talking about Your Average YouTuber. And I thought, what a funny name. I love it. In the Kylie Rodney case, I want to say, you guys, and I would imagine that most, if not all of you, might agree, I am very suspicious of the Starbucks meetup at 9 a.m. on Saturday morning. the mom and Kylie's friends. Allegedly, that was supposed to be a meetup for the friends that were going camping. I'm just sus that that was a meetup for let's get our stories straight. Are you with me? You feel me? And I feel like everybody in Truckee is an accessory before, during, or after the fact. Either an accomplice or at the very least an accessory. And I'm sure, I would imagine that most of my viewers feel me on that too, right? And let's see. I wrote down they could release footage of the vehicle underwater and then change the date. What I was thinking when I wrote that down was with the flying over and maybe the vehicle not being there until, let's say, August 20th or something, possibly, that they could doctor up some footage to make it look like, oh, look, here's us flying over on the 10th, and there it is. But then they'd have to admit, like, oh, yeah, it was right there, and none of us saw it. We couldn't see it from the sky. We couldn't see it from scuba diving, that we're all just blind, right? Never really sat right, that meetup, exactly. Bet we need the report, but the creator was waiving Hannah's police report. And this is what gets me in the Idaho for, I gotta say this before I wrap up today, is that the media is trying to portray the criminal defendant as the unaliver, who not only popped off because he got a letter saying that things were going to fall apart at work, but that really he turned into an unaliver because he was bullied as a young kid for being hefty. I mean, he wasn't even that big, in my opinion. I mean, kids these days are big. You know, when I was a kid, it was usually only like one or two kids in each class that had a much larger girth than the rest. And then, you know, maybe a couple of kids that were just a little bit rotund. As you're growing, you know, you shoot up, you shoot out, you shoot up, you shoot out. But kids these days, there's a lot larger size is the norm. And Koberger's only 29 years old now, probably. So he's not that big. For people to try to say, oh, yeah, he was so terribly bullied that that's why he did this, they're just grasping at straws, in my opinion, to try to come up with a motive, because there's nothing there. It seems abundantly clear to me that they're simply trying to pin this on a fall guy to save the university, to save the fraternities, to save face. And of course, I could be incorrect, but it just looks more and more that way to me, in my humble opinion. So I do need to wrap up, you guys. Let's see. Sus about Starbucks. Sorry, that story about her fighting with mom and going home to finish Saturday morning was a theory, unsure which part Kevin Neese had to retract. Yeah, I don't know either. So you guys, thank you so much for coming into my super short live. I don't want to promise, but I'm going to do my best to get on to a live at about 9:30 tomorrow morning, and hopefully it can be at least a 90-minute live. So yeah, I think that's it. Again, please hit that like button. Share if you think the video might be liked by one of your friends. Make sure you're still subscribed, and if you want to be notified when I do my surprise lives without any warning, turn on your notification bell. So peace out, sending you light, sending you love, and happy November. I think I said that at the beginning, but I meant to if I didn't. So saying it now. Thanks again, you guys. Light and love. Have a great afternoon and take great care of yourself.